How does the Ruben Amorim decision, first of all, how does that sit with you, 24 hours or so on?
I thought after the press conference at Leeds United, I thought that he was in trouble. I thought after the Wolves performance and the fans staying at the end to boo en masse, I thought there was, the sort of clouds were circling after that point. But then obviously after the press conference, it was plainly obvious that, before the Leeds game, wasn't it? Or was it after the Leeds game? I can't even think now. It was after the Leeds game.
The Leeds game.
That was basically sort of, I think the writing was on the wall. What did surprise me, I thought they might leave him in for a couple of weeks just to work things out, but I thought he was done after the Leeds press conference. When you take on your bosses in any single job in the world, you're likely to lose your job pretty quickly.
So I don't know if you know any more than us on this next part of the solution for Manchester United, Gary, but what we're sort of hearing is that they're looking for an interim now to take them till the summer when there'll be a permanent appointment made. So on that basis, has Darren Fletcher basically got tonight, and maybe the cup game at the weekend as well, to show that he should be one of those under consideration?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they've got to bring someone in, I think, who's done it before. I think that what they can't do is imagine that this is going to go well. I was put in a football club for 4 months and told to sort of steer the ship to shore for the rest of the season. It doesn't quite work like that, and Manchester United have had a very challenging experience with Ralph Rangnick. It went well last time they put Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. All I would say is, as long as someone basically has done it before, got a bit of experience, can handle the media, can handle if maybe results don't go their way, they need to get to the end of the season, because I think the next appointment is obviously crucial. But there's still a lot to play for this season. I do think if Manchester United can get De Ligt, Maguire, those lads back from obviously AFCON, and Bruno Fernandes fit, who we might be fit tonight, they've still got a chance of achieving Champions League football this season. But things are going to have to go their way. But it's looking like they are going to appoint someone to the end of the season and then look at what would be a more bigger name manager at that point. One thing I would say is, even if someone comes in right now and has the most brilliant 4 months, Manchester United still need to make that decision at the end of the season to appoint an experienced manager who's world class.
So in the interim, if it's not Darren Fletcher, would you support a return for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
I would not. I mean, I think that there is an element of... we saw this at Liverpool, didn't we, for like 25, 30 years when they were going through that period where they weren't winning, and they sort of, you almost go through cycles whereby, and United have done this for 12 years now. They put Ryan in charge 10 years ago, then Ole came in charge, and you go back to the old boys, and then you go for a new one, then you go for a more, and it's almost like a cycle. It's almost like a movie that we've all seen before. And Groundhog Day. So look, what I do think is that Ollie is someone that absolutely loves the club. He knows the job, he's been in the job. The other names that are being mentioned, obviously Michael Carrick and Ruud van Nistelrooy, these are really fantastic people. I played with those guys for a lot of years. They love the club intensely, they get the club, but still, they're still going to come under a lot of pressure in this next 4 or 5 months if results don't go their way. So look, I think they have to be ready for that. Either whoever's going to get it out of those three that are being mentioned, I wish them all the best, because it's a tough run.
Let's kick off with this Manchester United conversation. Some say gone too soon, Tim. Some say not soon enough. Where are you on this?
I think Ruben's decided when he wants to leave the football club. I think he's got what he wanted. As soon as he spoke out against the hierarchy, I thought it was inevitable he would lose his job. There's no way you can do that. It's impossible. I really wanted to like this guy when he first come into the club, the charisma he had. He's obviously talked his way into the job. He's a very, very good talker. We've seen that. Great. Sporting Lisbon done fantastic. I think he underestimated the Premier League. You can't come in with just one style of play and just say, I'm going to be so stubborn, I'm going to stick to that, and I'm not going to be flexible enough to change it. No matter what he had. He's learnt about the players. He's obviously not liked them, too much. Having said that, we've just looked at the table there. They're not too far off it. So it's a good opportunity for someone else to go in. But I think he's made the decision. I think it's up to him. I really believe that Man United did not want to get rid of this guy. I think they would have kept him till the end of the season. They would have assessed where they were after that. But I think once you talk out, like Enzo Maresca has done at Chelsea, I think both managers have got what they wanted, and that is to leave the football club with a nice payday.
Interesting. Okay, so you think he's maybe forced Manchester United's hand, and maybe that's possible, Jamie. If you can say things against your leaders, your bosses, if your record is better than Ruben Amorim's was? Was this the big problem for Ruben Amorim, for all his likability in press conferences and his stubbornness, I suppose, to his formation, that he just didn't get the results to back it up?
Absolutely, and we gave him a lot of leeway because of what Jim Ratcliffe said. When Jim Ratcliffe said, no, we are going to give this guy time, we all went, OK, well, fair enough, we'll give him time. But like Tim says, he knew what he was doing, he knew what the exit was, and he got himself out at the right time for him. I don't ever believe he understood the assignment, if I'm honest. I remember doing the first game, it was Ipswich, they drew 1-1, and he came over to talk to us. I don't think he enjoyed it because Ed Sheeran came over, and I think it was a bit of he didn't quite like what was happening. And I remember looking at his face, and he said, all I've done all week is so much press, and this isn't really what I'm used to. And I'm thinking, if you don't know what Manchester United is all about, it's one of the biggest clubs in the world, you are going to do a lot of pressing. You better get used to it really quickly. And I felt from that moment, has he really enjoyed this job? And it hasn't been the case. I think the system thing, Tim, is spot on. And when he turned around a couple of weeks ago and said, well, if I would have changed the system, then I would look weak as a manager. No, you would have looked strong. You know, I have no problem with that system. Conte's made that system work. You can make that system work, but you also have to adapt. And if you're playing 3 at the back and the team's got 10 men, you don't need to keep 3 at the back. You shouldn't be losing away at Grimsby. A lot of the results that he had were absolutely disgraceful. And normally, any other Manchester United manager would have been sacked long time ago. But because Jim Ratcliffe gave him that peace of mind that he's safe, but Tim's right. He knew what he was doing. He knew where the exit was, and he took it as quickly as he could.
The story wasn't it, that he'd had that conversation with Jason Wilcox before the game at the weekend, and they'd had a bit of a disagreement, and he'd reacted emotionally to suggestions of sticking to 4 rather than 3 at the back. And I'd be interested to see what Darren Fletcher does tonight. This is Ruben Amorim compared with every other Manchester United manager in this Premier League era who's taken charge of 20 games or more, and his record again is not favourable. 31.9% win ratio, 10 even fewer than Ralph Rangnick, who had a really tough time there. Interestingly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is up here, 51.4%. He is currently the favourite for the job. Might he find his way back in at Old Trafford?
It looks that way. I mean, if Ruben had a 51.8% win ratio, he'd be third in the league. You know, it just shows you, what the state of the Premier League at the moment. I think there's 2 outstanding teams, Man City and Arsenal. I think the rest of it is mediocre. I really believe that. And I think evidence of that is where Manchester United are at the moment. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the front runner.
The front runner for what terms of just coming back as an
interim manager, yeah. My choice would be Michael Carrick. I just have a feeling about Ole. Ole took them to second place. Let's not forget that. But it ended badly for him. And he just, when I saw him in front of the press or on the touchline, and just look into his eyes, and he looked like he was a rabbit in the headlights. He looked like he was scared of the job. I'm not saying he was. That was just my feelings when I look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think Michael's carries himself a bit better. I think.
And you've been down that route. It doesn't normally work out going back again, Tim, does it?
No, but they need something for the interim period. They need something, and I think they're right to turn to a Manchester United person. But Man United stuck with it. I think he made a few tweaks second half, Fletcher. Hopefully they can go on a run now, but it's still poor, isn't it? Like we talked about control.
Did the system look better though?
It's not about the system.
All right. I mean, that goal there was
getting your best players in the right position.
Yeah, but people talk about 3 at the back's not a bad system. It's a good system, but the players that he's played in those systems and the mistakes that he's made along the way have been the mistake.
Yeah.
That's where it's all fundamentally gone wrong for him. And taking off players. When if you have to. When things aren't going your way, you have to maybe go to a back 4 or change it, or maybe look, we're losing this game. They've got a man sent off. You don't stay 3 at the back, and that's what Amorim kept making. Those are the mistakes. So even if the next manager comes and wants to play 3 at the back, you can still have success playing it. Do I think it's the way forward for Man United? No, because it's more of a counter-attacking system, but it is still a good system.
Just on that point, Jamie, we can show you the stats from the game. You talk about the counter-attacking system of the 3 at the back and the difference that maybe it makes if you do play 4 at the back for Manchester United and you get Bruno Fernandes playing up higher the pitch. 30 shots that Manchester United have had, the most they've had in a Premier League game this season. This has come away from home, remember, as well. And expected goals figure is 2 more than Burnley. So you'd normally expect to be winning a game on that basis, but they've had one fly in from the deflecting in the first half, and then Jane Anthony has scored that cracking equalising goal as well. Did you see the evidence that this is the way forward? Is that enough evidence that this is the way forward for 4 at the back, 3 in midfield?
I think it's easier for every player to learn to play 4 at the back. I think they're better set up to do that. They need to get in support of Sesko, so it helps you get support of him. Get Bruno Fernandes on the ball further up the field. Ugarte and Casemiro is not the answer in the midfield area. They need someone in there. If they're going to get Bruno on the ball and Cunha on the ball, they need them on the ball higher up the field and more often than what they did tonight. And if they do that, I think they can cause problems, they can create chances and they can win football matches. But I go back to what Jamie says, whether it's 3 at the back or whether it's 4 at the back, the same mistakes are being made. We saw that there with Casemiro letting Humphries go for that first goal. That is nothing to do with systems. That's just the fundamentals of running back and being disciplined and being responsible when you need to defend.
Are there grounds for optimism, do you think, from what we saw from Manchester United, not in terms of the result, but in terms of the performance?
Yeah, it was okay. I thought they had moments when they went 2-1 up. I thought they were going to cruise and win the game comfortably. They obviously didn't do that. For Darren, I like Darren Fletcher. He's a proper football man. Yeah, he's had a fantastic career as a player. I don't know whether he wants a job. I can't speak for him. Obviously, there's been other candidates. Michael Carrick.
Why would he not want the job?
Because he might not think he's ready. He might not think he's got the credentials to do it. Because Man United, the reason why they've been one of the biggest or most successful clubs for many years, when they were, was because they had the best in class. They had the best manager, Alex Ferguson. Obviously, probably wasn't when they got him from Aberdeen, he was. No one quite knew how well it was going to go, but it did. Then they'd always sign the best players to help the manager. Yeah. But right now they haven't married the two together. They've sometimes tried to get best in class in managers, but they haven't got the best players. Now they have to make sure they do both. And I don't think that, no disrespect to the guys that again mentioned, Ollie, Michael.
But this is the talk about the interim, isn't it, Jamie?
For the interim.
But before they have try and find the best in class in the summer.
Yeah.
But if it is to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, why not Darren Fletcher?
Yeah, my point earlier was it's not going to change a lot in the summer. If the managers are there, you've got to have an idea of who you want. Say if you think Maresca's around now, then try and get Maresca. If you think that's the one. If you think, I personally, I mentioned it before, Andoni, Areola at Bournemouth, I'll be getting him. The way that his teams have played over the last couple of years are absolutely incredible. If you look at other managers that are possible, if they're available now, just get them. Why wait till the summer doesn't change anything. You're still going to have the same problems. You want to start talking to players to get them in. Who are you going to sign next year? They'll want to know who the manager is coming in. But the quicker you do it, the better.
The noise is RJ that they just want someone until the summer. Yeah. So he's got nothing to lose by doing it himself. Nothing to lose whatsoever. He can go back to his old job and he can do that. And why won't he do as good a job as Michael Carrick or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? It's a risk, whoever they bring in. They could bring an established manager in. They could bring a trophy manager in. There's no guarantees. We've seen that with other managers who have come, superstar managers, supposedly. And they come into Man United and they don't do it. They don't do it. So there's no guarantees.
Michael did a really good job at Middlesbrough. Yeah, really good. Very unlucky. And I think he could go in there and do a job. I don't understand the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer one. I just don't. I know he was there before, interim, then he became the manager. I saw his face at the end of it. He looked like a beaten man. And now it looks like they're going to get him back again. That just makes no sense to me. And other managers, if it is Darren or if it's Michael Carrick, then to the end of the season, that's fine. The Ole Gunnar Solskjaer one, I struggle with.
Leandro Trossard proved to be the perfect antidote to Arsenal's attacking frustrations, following Mikel Arteta's candid remarks about Victor Gyökeres. Gyökeres may have struggled to truly impress since his summer arrival at Arsenal, but over the weekend, there was finally a glimpse of what he is capable of. More importantly, Trossard showed exactly why he could be the key to unlocking the Swedish striker's full potential during Arsenal's hard-fought 2-1 victory over Wolves at the Emirates Stadium. The 31-year-old winger injected fresh energy into Mikel Arteta's side on Saturday night and helped breathe new life into the Gunners' attack. Shortly after replacing Gabriel Martinelli in the second half, Arsenal found the breakthrough. While Trossard did not directly contribute to either the opening goal or the dramatic stoppage time winner, his influence on the game was undeniable. Trossard took control of proceedings, dictating the tempo and pulling the strings down the left flank. Time and again, he dismantled Wolves' compact defensive setup, releasing Miles Lewis-Skelly into space, picking out Declan Rice on the edge of the box, and crucially, feeding Gyökeres with intelligent, well-timed passes. Operating as a creative hub, the Belgian showcased his playmaking qualities, delivering sharp, purposeful distribution. His introduction completely shifted the momentum of the match, and for the first time in weeks, Arsenal's $64 million striker briefly looked like a genuine threat. Before Trossard's arrival, Gyökeres endured a frustrating and ineffective outing in attack. In fact, the Belgian was the only player to carve out a clear-cut opportunity for the 27-year-old forward, slipping a simple yet incisive ball in behind the Wolves' backline. Gyökeres controlled the pass, beat his defender, and aimed for the far post. Wolves goalkeeper Sam Johnstone was beaten, but the Swedish striker saw his effort agonizingly drift just wide. If Arteta truly wants to get the best out of Gyökeres, then granting Trossard a more prominent role in the starting 11th could be the solution. Speaking to TNT Sports after the win, the Arsenal manager openly addressed the challenges facing his marquee signing. "It's a collaboration between the two," Arteta explained. "He was in some really good positions, but the ball didn't arrive quickly enough, accurately enough, or with the precision a number 9 needs to score." But his commitment and intention were there, and we have to keep pushing. Arteta was equally vocal in defending Gyökeres prior to the match, urging patience with the striker's adaptation to English football. "There was huge expectation because we were signing a proven goal scorer, probably with the best statistics in Europe," Arteta said. "But he's coming into a different league, the most demanding league in the world. What happens if he doesn't score in 5 or 6 games? That was the only question I asked him. How are you going to react if you don't score in 5 or 6 matches? Can you handle that? And what about the next 100 games? That's what people need to see. The sample size is still very small, so leave him alone. Let him do what he does best. Support him, and I'm convinced things will come good." That message from Arteta resonated beyond the Emirates. In the days following the Wolves' victory, the debate around Gyökeres intensified among pundits, supporters, and former players. While some questioned whether Arsenal's record signing is truly suited to the Premier League's pace and physicality, others pointed to the structural issues around him rather than the striker himself. Much of the post-match analysis focused on Arsenal's chance creation and balance in the final third. The Wolves game highlighted a recurring theme this season. Gyökeres often makes the right movements, but the service into dangerous areas has been inconsistent. When Trossard entered the match, that problem briefly disappeared. Arsenal suddenly looked more fluid, more unpredictable, and far better equipped to supply a traditional number 9. Former players speaking on television and radio were quick to note the contrast. With Trossard drifting inside and linking play, Arsenal's attacking shape became more compact, allowing Gyökeres to stay higher up the pitch and occupy central defenders. That, in turn, created space for midfield runners like Rice and Ødegaard to arrive late in the box. It was a glimpse of an attacking formula that Arsenal have rarely sustained this season. The reaction from supporters has been equally divided. While frustration with Gyökeres' goal return remains, there is growing appreciation for his work rate, physical presence, and willingness to press from the front. Many fans now see Trossard as the missing connector, the player who can translate Gyökeres' movement into genuine scoring opportunities. Internally, Arteta faces an important decision. Persisting with a front line that isolates Gyökeres risks damaging the striker's confidence, especially with tougher fixtures on the horizon. At the same time, promoting Trossard to a regular starting role could mean reshuffling wide positions and reducing Martinelli's minutes, a bold call that would not come without consequences. Yet football at the highest level often comes down to chemistry rather than reputation. The Wolves match suggested that Arsenal's most expensive signing may not need drastic changes to his own game, but rather the right supporting cast around him. If Arteta embraces that idea, Gyökeres' slow start could soon be remembered as nothing more than a difficult adjustment period. For now, the pressure remains. Goals will ultimately define Gyökeres' Arsenal career, and patience in North London is never unlimited. But with Trossard offering clarity, creativity, and calm in possession, Arsenal may finally have found the key to unlocking their striker and turning promise into consistent production.